Sorry, didn't have my sound on. Got an idea, tell you what let's do. Let's go out to that place on the Turtle Bayou. We'll maybe get lucky, maybe get shot. Couldn't be half the trouble I got. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Turtle Bayou, turn around. It's just another night with the missus and me, sitting on the couch watching court TV. Let me tell you, son, it can sure get real if you ever get to thinking it's a done deal. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Get your big feet up off the ground. Turtle Bayou, turn around. We'll pass a good time out past the lights of town. She come from the land of the Bodark Tree, Scots, Irish, and Cherokee. She come down here when the northers blow, 'cause she don't care for the ice and snow. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Get your big feet up off the ground. Turtle Bayou, turn around. We'll pass a good time out past the lights of town. Take my hand, Oklahoma Jane. One little dance wouldn't hurt a thing. Now it's noon, I'm rolling up the drive. I ain't even got a decent lie. Doesn't everybody get that way sometimes? I was looking at every way woman but mine. I was looking at the faces, looking at the parts, looking through the hole in the bottom of my heart. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Get your big feet up off the ground. Turtle Bayou, turn around. We'll pass a good time out past the lights of town. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Turtle Bayou, turn around. Welcome back to the Wednesday Night Bunker Hunker. I haven't done this in a while. The hurricane party's winding down and we're all waiting for the end. And I don't want another drink, I only want that last one again. It gave me such a fine glow, smoky and slow. Now I should probably be homeward bound, but there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. in the morning I'll go looking for my gray striped cap. My old house can take the weather, so I'm not too concerned about that. It was built to take the wind back in 1910, when this was one damn fine town. But now there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. And the candles flickered on the back bar, and the building was shaking with the wind. I bought a whiskey for the gypsy, and she turned my leather back into skin. Just a fleeting sense of that rare suspense I once thought made the world go round. But now there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. Open up your back screen door, let me see your face once more. My hands are cold, my feet so sore, and I can't go on this way. And the thoughts come too fast and too many to keep count. Best just let them on through. Now I'm breaking those old glass insulators with my old 22. Off the telephone poles as a $50 rolls across the knuckles of a rodeo clown. There's just no one to talk to when the lines go down. And my one great love, my God, I can feel her still. She ran off to California, she's living in those Hollywood hills with some bullfrog prince. I've not seen her since, though she calls when he's out of town. And there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. Open up your back screen door, let me in your space once more. I was looking for an easy score, but it just don't work that way. Some insurance man biker is yelling out for one more beer, but a part-time pirate just can't get much respect around here. We got our problems too, man, and we'll get to you in just a minute. Sit your drunk ass down. Yeah, there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. Now there's water up past the wheel wells on my Ford, and I don't guess it'll run. But I left a pack of Winstons on the dash. Could you fetch 'em for me, son? The morning's first cigarette, that's as good as it gets all day. I should know by now that there's no one to talk to when the lines go down. Well, old Brownie's kind of staying sort of in tune tonight, so whatever. tracing my tail, carving my initials with a rusty nail, betraying my intentions. Man, it happens without fail. You'd have thought that I'd know better by now. And it might be some dark secret I keep bottled up inside, or just some minuscule transgression I shouldn't have tried to hide. It's not the size that matters, it's deceit she can't abide. You'd have thought that I'd know better by now. Of course she knows, 'cause I can't fool her, and I know she knows, 'cause she don't fool me. And she knows, I know she knows, and we might discuss it eventually, when the pressure builds till it blows the seals all out from in between. You'd have thought that we'd know better by now. You'd have thought that we'd know better. You'd have thought we'd understand. Through all the smoke and mirrors, I guess we do the best we can. Hiding out, without a doubt, it's getting out of hand. You'd have thought that we'd know better by now. I've seen the phantoms hiding in the shadows in her eyes. And it's not that I'm not threatened, it's just that I'm not surprised. Good for the gander, said the old folks, but they lied. You'd have thought that we'd know better by now. Circle up the wagons, professing deep dismay that we know all the words they just won't bring themselves to say. There's so much they never tell you, there's so much they hide away. You'd have thought that they'd know better by now. You'd have thought that we'd know better. You'd have thought we'd understand. Through all the smoke and mirrors, I guess we do the best we can. Hiding out, without a doubt, it's getting out of hand. You'd have thought that we'd know better by now. You'd have thought that we'd know better by now. Ruby said you're getting us in a world of hurt. Down below the Mason dumbass line, the food gets worse. I can't go back to Tennessee, that NASCAR country's not for me. Go on if you think you must. Carlos packed his drums up in the dark of night. Ruby's standing just outside the front porch light. Chain smoking Camel Straights, the sky off to the east got gray, and he rolled off in a cloud of dust. and a gray coat nickered at the gate. She said, "You're right, it's getting late. You and me got work to do. We can't be burning daylight too." She took down a long lead rope and stayed off of that slippery slope. The aspen trees were turning gold up top. The talk was buzzing round the beauty shop. Wasn't he barely half her age? Oh, that's just how they do nowadays. We should all have been so lucky. By spring she'd had the run of the freeborn men. Ruby turned 50 in a sheep camp tent, and her body still could rock all night, but her heart was closed and locked up tight. Potato fields all muddy and brown, the gossip long since quieted down. And after one more Coggins test, pouring coffee for the county vet, pictures on the icebox door, Carlos in the first Gulf War, black-eyed, brown and youthful face, smiling back from a Saudi base. And then Carlos on the Big Bay mare, heavier now and longer haired, looking past the saddle shed from way on back inside his head. The old vet said, "One day, Rube, that colt, he'll break an egg in you. Now and then one comes along you just can't ride," and he went on home. And the storm door didn't catch. It blew back hard as she struck a match, but she cupped it just in time. Then she sent the ashtray flying. Holding back the flood just don't do no good. You can't unclench your teeth to howl the way you should, so you curl your lips around the taste of tears and a hollow sound that no one owns but you. No one owns but you. Carlos took the road gig and he saw it through. He rode the tour bus while the singer flew. Managed out of Music Row, Carlos never saw the studio. Session guys had that all sewn up. He looks out the window and it starts to sleet, laying on a friend's couch on Nevada streets. Lately he's been staying high, sick all winter, they don't know why. They don't know why, or they just won't say. They don't talk much down at the VA. And Ruby's in his thoughts sometimes, what thoughts can get out past the wine. He feels her fingers on his brow, and right then he misses how she looked in that gray morning light. She never shaved like they all do now. He sees it all behind his eyes. His hands go searching, but they come up dry. Halfway in that waking dream, Carlos lets the landline ring. He'd never have guessed it was Ruby calling, a pin in her hip from the gray colt falling. Figure eights in a lazy lope, stumbled on that slippery slope. Holding back the flood just don't do no good. You can't unclench your teeth to howl the way you should, so you curl your lips around the taste of tears and a hollow sound that no one owns but you. No one owns but you. turn it down a notch. Pull it down a notch, rather. A half step. I was thinking about you crossing southern Alberta. Canola fields on a July day, about the same chartreuse as that 69 bug you used to drive around San Jose. Never knew my old white Lincoln might take you. Party on wheels with suicide doors. Bring the kids and the dogs and your grandma too. We always had room for more. Till that white knuckle ride back from Santa Cruz. Second best surfer on the Central Coast. Had you wrapped up all the way back to Los Gatos, and I could have cut his throat. And it wasn't like we were an item to start with, it had no basis in fact. But the whiskey could push me to sudden extremes. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. Take my hand, Marine. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there. We all filtered away with the days getting shorter, seeking our place in the greater scheme. Kids and careers and a vague sense of order, busting apart at the seams. Now I heard you switched coast, moved in with your sister. I doubt you'd have called it familial bliss. We met up in Brooklyn before it went hipster. You carried your keys in your fist. Then a way back corner of a crosstown bus, we were hiding out under my hat, cashing in on a 30-year crush. You can't be young and do that. You can't be young and do that. Take my hand, Marine. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there. Or I'll be lost out there. I was thinking about you crossing southern Alberta. Canola fields at harvest time look like tumbleweeds raked up into rows, brown rustic contour lines. There's not much moving on the romance radar. Not that I'm craving it all that much, but I still need to feel every once in a while the warmth of a smile and a touch. Then a way back corner of a crosstown bus, we were hiding out under my hat, cashing in on a 30-year crush. You can't be young and do that. 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 Take my hand, Marine. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there. Or I'll be lost out there. Or I'll be lost out there. Back to the cowpunk, I say. scoot this in a little bit so it gets a little more guitar. Strap them kids in, give them a little bit of vodka and a cherry coke. We're going to Oklahoma to the family reunion for the first time in years. It's up at Uncle Slayton's 'cause he's getting on in years. You know, he no longer travels, but he's still pretty spry. It's not much on talking, he's just too mean to die. And they'll be coming down from Kansas and from West Arkansas. It'll be one great big old party like you never saw. Uncle Slayton's got his Texan pride, back in the thickets with his Asian bride. He's got an Airstream trailer and a Holstein cow. Still makes whiskey 'cause he still knows how. He plays that Choctaw bingo every Friday night. You know, he had to leave Texas, but he won't say why. He owns a quarter section up by Lake Eufaula, caught a great big old blue cat on a drifting jug line. Sells his hardwood timber to the shipping mill. Cooks that crystal meth because the shine don't sell. He cooks that crystal meth because the shine don't sell. You know, he likes that money, he don't mind the smell. My cousin Roscoe, Slayton's oldest boy, from his second marriage up in Illinois, raised in East St. Louis by his mama's people, where they do things different. Thought he'd just come on down. He's going to Dallas, Texas in a semi-truck called from that big McDonald's. You know, the one that's built up on that great big old bridge across the Will Rogers Turnpike. Took a big cabin exit, stopped and bought a carton of cigarettes at that Indian smoke shop with the big neon smoke rings and the Cherokee Nation. Hit Muskogee late that night. Somebody ran a stoplight at the Shawnee bypass. Roscoe tried to miss him, but he didn't quite. Bob and May come up from some little town way down by Lake Texoma, where he coaches football. They were 2A champions now for 2 years running, but he says they won't be this year. No, they won't be this year. And he stopped off in Tushka at that pop knife and gun place, bought a SKS rifle and a couple full cases of that steel core ammo with the Burdan primers from some East Block nation that no longer needs them. And a Desert Eagle, that's one great big old pistol. I mean, 50 caliber made by badass Hebrews, and some surplus tracers for that old BAR Slayton's. As soon as it gets dark, we're gonna have us a time. We're gonna have us a time. Have us a time. My Aunt Rita, now she's just about my age. She lives over in Missouri off of I-44, next to that great big old billboard of that little bitty baby wanting to know who's my daddy, selling that DNA testing. And she just done 6 months down at that Red River rehab. Had a little pain pill problem, but she's okay now. You know she's okay now. It's just cocaine now. Ruth Ann and Lynn come down from Baxter Springs, and that's one hell-raising town way up in southeastern Kansas. Got a biker bar next to the lingerie store. It's got the Rolling Stones lips up there and bright pink neon, and they're right downtown where everyone can see them. And they burn all night, you know, they burn all night, you know, they burn all night. Ruth Ann and Lynn, they wear them cut-off breeches and them skinny little halters, and they're second cousins to me. Man, I don't care, I want to get between them with a great big old heart on, like an old Bodark fence post you could hang a pipe rail gate from. Do some sister twisters till the cows come home, and we'll be having us a time. Having us a time. Uncle Slayton's got his Texan pride, back in the thickets with his Asian bride. He's cut that corner pasture into acre lots. He sells them on her finance. Strictly to them, it's got no kind of credit, 'cause he knows they're slackers and they'll miss that payment. Then he takes it back. He plays that Choctaw bingo every Friday night. He drinks his Johnny Walker at that Club 69. We're gonna strap them kids in, give them a little bit of Benadryl and a cherry Coke. We're going to Oklahoma, gonna have us a time. Have us a time. Let's see what we can do here. Gonna be playing tomorrow night at St. Andrew's Presbyterian. I think that's the one. There's 2 St. Andrews in Houston. There's a Presbyterian and an Episcopal. And I believe I'm at the Presbyterian Church on Buffalo Speedway. Buffalo Speedway, St. Andrew's Presbyterian. That doesn't quite fit in there. Anyway, but I think I might actually bring this guitar out in public for the first time. It's got electronics and stuff I can plug in. It might work. I don't know. When the white oak leaves are rustling round the courtyard, tell the cook to leave the kitchen window down. Just don't like it from inside. I might still need a place to hide. When I turn to face the horses and the hounds, sister says to come on back for Christmas. Mama's wondering why I never come around. Lord, I've been running for so long, I just can't find my way back home. So I'll turn to face the horses and the hounds. You might hear some gears a-grinding before I can get this rig turned back around. Head back down the highway winding, back towards the horses and the hounds. Thought I'd found a love to last me, till she opted for that candy-coated clown. I didn't even make a show, just walked on and let him go. Still I'm running from the horses and the hounds. You might hear some gears a-grinding before I can get this rig turned back around. Head back down the highway winding, back towards the horses and the hounds. Straight towards the horses and the hounds. On the trails and motel sign rides a warrior with his horse run out and his lance pointed down. That's as far as he's gonna get. He surely knows what's coming next. He's just waiting on the horses and the hounds. You might hear some gears a-grinding before I can get this rig turned back around. Head back down the highway winding, back towards the horses and the hounds. You might hear some gears a-grinding before I can get this rig turned back around. Head back down the highway winding, back towards the horses and the hounds. Straight towards the horses and the hounds. And I'll bet they hear it halfway back to town when I turn to face the horses and the hounds. Had enough of this small town bullshit. I'm not staying in school. I'm making good dough working with my brother, cleaning out pools. I'm going out to California, and man, it won't be long. Soon as I get my license, color me gone. Oh, knock it off, Johnny. Man, you're living in your head. You ain't even got a car, and these chicks don't believe a word you said. But you're doing all the talking, so I'll just keep quiet. And this'll probably go nowhere, but I can't blame you for trying. It's just us kids in the park at night, hanging around neath the vapor lights. Got no drugs and we got no guns, not even bothering anyone. I don't have to wear a necktie, I don't have to punch a clock. I started up a .com company, and man, it rocks. Won't you come with me down to Mexico in the winter with some friends? My divorce will be final long about then. Meanwhile, I got a gram and a real good ride. Don't you know it hurt way down inside? It's just us kids in the parking lot, out here giving it all we got. We don't want to get old and die, and there ain't nothing we wouldn't try. You know we could really have it all. My kid's gonna graduate next fall, and I could take retirement in 10 years. It's a damn short movie. How'd we ever get here? It's just us kids hanging out today, watching our long hair turning gray. Not so skinny, maybe not so free, not so many as we used to be. It's just us kids hanging around today, watching our long hair turning gray. Not so skinny, maybe not so free, not so many as we used to be. Not so skinny, maybe not so free, not so many as we used to be. Moving right along. I'd like to send this out to the memory of my friend Dave Hickey. I should have learned one of his songs for tonight, and I used to know one or two of them, but one of them comes back, maybe I'll play it, but in the meantime, I'll play this. Looking back down the road from a little ways out, I never had a fear and I never had a doubt. If I'd had a lick of sense, I'd have figured that out pretty fast. But I wasn't any smarter than the average kid. Somebody might have noticed, but I never did. I never saw the future fading right into the past. Talking to the wallpaper, wandering the halls. I burned a lot of bridges and I dropped a lot of balls. It's a wonder I can never go back to any place I've been. But I wouldn't get down on my knees on a bet of I'm near enough to Jesus as I ever want to get. Seeking salvation isn't part of my general plan. Save your prayers for yourself. Raise my glass to your health. I don't mind if you don't look like me. I can share my bread and wine. I come from another time. It don't matter all that much if it don't bleed. If it don't bleed. Now it's all I can do just to get out of bed. There's more in the mirror than there is up ahead. A smile and a nod like I heard what you said every time. So run another rack, pour another shot. You don't get it back, so give it all you got. Well, you still got a more or less functional body and mind. Save your prayers for yourself. Raise my glass to your health. I don't mind if you don't look like me. I can share my bread and wine. I come from another time. It don't matter all that much if it don't bleed. If it don't bleed. I learned to answer my calls and open my mail. I paid my taxes and I stayed out of jail. You stay in the game when you're too broke to fail, that's a fact. Talking to the wallpaper, sleeping in the hall. Your bones get brittle, you better not fall. You're slow to a crawl and time gets to balling the jack. Run you right off the track. Save your prayers for yourself. Raise my glass to your health. I don't mind if you don't talk like me. I can share my bread and wine. I come from another time. It don't matter all that much if it don't bleed. 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 Let's see what we got here. She gets a little restless in the spring. She might follow the lines you sing. Bullshit though they are, sometimes that's just the thing. If delivered with panache and a certain grace, fingertips on satin lace, cutting cards and quoting Proust, whatever turns her wild mare loose. She gets a little restless now and then. She feels the changes in the wind. Way down deep where I can't see, she can get clean away from me with a sidestep and a subtle shift in the turning of a key. Locks me out and lets me drift. She'll come back if I let her be. She'll come back if I let her be. And you know I'm just a little down tonight. I'm just a little down. A little messed up is all I'm saying. Just a little down tonight. I'm just a little down, but believe I'll make it. Believe I'll make it. She gets a little restless, I can tell. She goes back up inside her shell. And the conversation slows to a stop, and I might as well be out alone on the highway, way off in the Utah sage, waving to the railroad crew. That's when I get restless too. And you know I'm just a little down tonight. I'm just a little down. A little messed up is all I'm saying. Just a little down tonight. I'm just a little down. But I believe I'll make it. Believe I'll make it. She gets a little restless in the spring. She might follow the lines you sing. Bullshit though they are, sometimes that's just the thing. Hard to tell with that one. I'll leave you with one of the Robert Earl Keen songs that I wrote. Thanks for coming out. I don't believe I'll be here Sunday. I might not be here next Wednesday. I don't know. I'll be somewhere, but not in front of this camera here. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. But I'll get back as soon as I can. We'll be at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church tomorrow night. I'll be at the Continental Club with my band Tuesday. Oh, I got my Moderna booster today, and this arm here, it doesn't seem to hurt too bad. So far, I hadn't turned into a werewolf. I'll let you know if I do. And as far as I know, I still hadn't got COVID. Tested numerous times. Thought I had it, but didn't. Anyway, be good, be safe, travel well. Flatter than a tabletop. Makes you wonder why they stopped here. Wagon must have lost a wheel, or they lacked ambition one. in the great migration west, separated from the rest. Though they might have tried their best, they never caught the sun. So they sunk some roots down in this dirt to keep from blowing off the earth. They built a town right here, and when the dust had all but cleared, they called it Level Land, the pride of man, Level Land. Granddad grew dryland wheat, he stood on his own 2 feet. His mind went incomplete, and they put him in the home. Daddy's cotton grows so high, sucks the water table dry. The center pivot circles by, bleeding it to the bone. And I won't be here when there comes the day it all dries up and blows away. I'd hang around just to see, but they've never had much use for me in Level Land. They don't understand me out in Level Land. Mama used to roll her hair back before the central air. We'd sit outside and watch the stars at night. She'd tell me to make a wish, I'd wish we both could fly. I don't think she's seen the sky since we got the satellite dish. And I can hear the marching band doing the best they can to play smoke on the water, joy to the world. I paid up all my debts, got some change left over yet, and I'm getting on a whisper jet, gonna fly as far as I can get from Level Land. Done the best I can out in Level Land. All right, thanks for being here.